back to Africa This Morning. We're now on Table Talking. Today we're going to be talking dance. Of course, there's going to be a performance a little bit later on from Judge Joan. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Formal name?
Joan Burgess.
Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Ebru Africa.
Thank you.
We're talking dance with you, knowing that you have a passion for dance. You've got, you've done the groundwork by studying dance, of course, but we want to know your story. The moment you discovered dance was your form of expression.
I discovered, you know, I was in my early teens and I was a shy person, but yet as a teenager, I was going through all sorts of issues. Who am I? What's going on?
Self-discovery.
All of that. And I discovered that dance was my outlet. Things that I couldn't say, I could dance. And feelings that I couldn't express, I could express through my choreography. So I danced and performed with my little crew and danced, and we had hip hop and dance hall. And then later, a few years later, I was able to go to the US and I was able to study, and I studied Afrofusion and contemporary and lyrical and ballet, and also continued in hip hop. And was blessed to be able to perform and teach in various countries like Cyprus and Egypt and all over the US, of course in my own country, Bermuda. So that's my story with dance. And then 4 years later, we moved to Kenya, and then Sakata happened. So now I'm on a show, and
that's the name,
Judge
Joan.
And that hence Judge Joan. So that's how it went.
When everyone discovers their form of expression, there's always a healing that form of expression has given you.
Absolutely.
Maybe you can share with us what dance has given you that you feel you want to give back to it by sharing the art with the people.
Sure. Like I said, most people don't know that I was a very shy person, and dance has allowed me to come out of my shell and to be me in different ways. It's allowed me to travel the world. There were points in my life as an artist of being very, very depressed, and all artists go through these lonely moments of no one being there and feeling like we're not gonna make it. And at those points where I felt like I was coming to my end, it was always dance that got me through every single time. So I would encourage anyone, any artist, you know, this is what I can give back. I can give back my joy, I can give back my smile because of dance. And each person must find what that is in their own life that can get them through in the lowest moments. Because
be it dance or music,
dance,
or sports.
Music, sports, a hobby, being real to yourself, having a good conversation with somebody, thinking positive thoughts, not, you know, gossiping and all these things help us to get through whatever hard times we're going through and just get us to that next level. For me, it just happens to be dance.
When you're looking at art in Africa, we are the continent that really, really appreciated this space of art when it comes to self-expression.
Yes.
However, we struggle when it comes to celebrating art right now. What do you usually communicate to those who are very enthusiastic on maybe having their children adopt art, and you have dance to offer to them?
Yeah, you know, it's different because yes, this is a continent for self-expression, and it's a difference between art that is for a culture, for a community, something that you do as a family, as a tribe, as a language, as a culture, and then transferring that into performance. The performance is where it gets a little tricky, like what are you doing? Can you make money from it? What is this type of stuff? And so I would say that this is where, in this generation, where this continent needs to discover that what is culture doesn't have to be lost. We don't have to adopt what's out there to make a performance. What's here, let's take it to the stage and expand it, make it bigger, make it more awesome, and let's even mix it with what's modern. And so parents who are looking for their kids to do different things, there are various dance schools around they can send their children to nowadays. There are professionals that have gone and studied various art forms, and so they need to find those professionals, sign them up for classes, and let them go.
You're a mother of 3?
Almost 3.
Almost 3. And you have your heart for children as well.
Yes.
You have written a book, and maybe you can share with us what writing the book meant to you, and why wasn't it dance or a dance routine for the kids?
Well, you know, it's funny because dance is one of the things I do. I'm a dancer, I'm a writer, I'm also a singer. And at the time when I wrote the book, I had just had my 2 kids. My 2 kids are 18 months apart. I wasn't sure if I would be able to dance again. And that's something that mothers struggle with. You know, if we're a professional in different ways, will we be able to get back to that place?
You still.
Yeah, or do we have to be mom? So at that point, I thought maybe I have to be mom for the rest of my life. So I had stories and poetry that I had kept it for a long time. And I share it with friends of mine, and they'd say, you know, you have to publish this. So when we moved back to Bermuda, and I didn't have anything else that I was doing at the time, I was really big and completely out of shape and not in any way for dancing, I published my book. And it just so happened it became a bestseller in Bermuda. It's called The Lizard and the Rock. And it's a children's book because that's the frame of mind that I was in at the time. And then the next year, we did the soundtrack. I wrote most of the songs along with the producer.
And of course, the viewers are getting an opportunity to see a video even as we are speaking.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay, and then the sequel came out. So at that point, I wasn't in the frame of mind of dancing. However, later on, dance came back. So that's why at that point it wasn't a dance routine. And there was a musical that was created with my book in mind. So which dancers did.
Transitioned into that platform.
Yeah, I'm always waiting for that time in my life, and I believe it's really coming soon where dance, writing, and singing will merge. And in a way, it has merged with my song Chizika that came out and did well 2 years ago in Kenya. But even in a bigger way, I'm waiting for that.
Do you feel that we have the right degree of appreciation for what we hold when it comes to our talents?
No.
Yeah. What do we need to sort out so that we can get to understand that we need to celebrate our own before we look out?
We need to realize that when one person succeeds, it's an opportunity for all of us to succeed.
Is it that there's backstabbing in the art industry?
All of that.
Yeah.
We have this tribal mentality that we think that only one person can make it. If I make it, then you can't make it. And that's the wrong approach. Because you make it, I can make it. This continent is so large. The counties are so big. There are parts that still haven't been touched by our talents. And all of us have space in this industry to grow. And if we will help each other and collaborate with each other, I think the industry will boom. There will be something amazing that happens.
The issue at this point is just identifying that the population that is within, for example, the entertainment industry has maybe a limited mentality.
Yes.
Maybe they're just looking at succeeding as a one corner, one cartel, one particular perspective. So it limits the opportunity for,
it limits the opportunity. People either think Nairobi, or they think Kenya, or they think East Africa. Generally, when music is produced or dance is produced, it's not thinking this is for the world.
How do we share that energy so that the country is able to, you know, celebrate the values that it has in different counties, as you've put it, in different areas, and even from every culture? So
immediately, each of us have to discover that our talents are valid. If I feel down, if I don't feel very confident, that's when this weird mentality comes in. Let's be confident in our talents. And then after that, let's not see each other as a threat. Let's start working with other people. Let's dancers work with painters, and sculptors can work with rap artists. Why not? We've never had this before. And then after that, when we create music, let's not think what's trending right now in my little corner. No, let's create something new where someone in Turkey will watch, where someone in India, in Russia, in Brazil, in Trinidad. We must think global, and we have the internet, we have YouTube to be able to help us to do this. So we think global, collaborate with everyone. Let's not work along language lines or ethnic lines or say, why is this person not singing Swahili, or why are they singing Swahili? It's not about that. Create what's in your heart, and what's in your heart will be able to be shown to the world.
We go back to the beautiful story of you being a mom.
Yes.
You are a mom, and you danced through all your 3 pregnancies.
Yes.
And right now you still are a dancer.
Yes.
Share with us the journey of that. The fact that you did not want the bun in the oven to deny you the burning passion for dance.
You know, for the first pregnancy, I didn't even think about it. It was what I was doing. I was very much performing in the U.S. At that time, and why would I stop? I had no complications. My doctor was great with that, and I just continued to dance. And even as the first child, I didn't even know the day I was going to labor, I was dancing. I was like, oh, I feel a little funny. And then I went and had the baby that night. So the second one, the same thing. It was at that point I was more into hip hop, so he was bouncing around in there. And then with this one is quite the surprise, because you know my kids are 8 and 9.
Yeah.
People don't know that. And so this one, I thought I was done. So being on the dance show and dancing, there was a time where it's like, do I stop because that's what people think I should do? Or my doctor says I'm healthy, the baby's healthy, thank God, I can go and do what I need to do. So I'm still teaching, still performing. You can see on the clips I'm doing a headstand in some of them.
Yeah.
It's a journey of knowing your body, because there are some days where I'm tired and I won't do much dancing, and there are other days I feel absolutely wonderful and I'll do more dancing. Of course, when you're dancing with a watermelon, your breath you're breathing for two, so I'm constantly out of breath. So I have to remind myself where I am. And the body does start to slow down a bit, so I do feel myself slowing down, but I don't think that people notice it in the dance at this point. The feedback I've been getting is, oh my goodness, I was about to die, so you do that headstand, I saw you do that baby freeze. And that's a misconception here, because our grandmothers would be carrying firewood and squatting and walking up hills and doing what they had to do and be pregnant. Why do we think now that we're modern, we need to lay up, put our feet up and drink tea all day because we're pregnant?
So some will raise eyebrows and say that you're fortunate because your journey has been easier on you.
No, I'm telling half the story. I'm telling half the story. Part of my story is that the doctors thought I'd never conceive. They thought that I'd have to have fertile treatment or adopt and all of that. And by changing my diet and by doing yoga and meditation and different herbs and just being under the care of natural doctors, I was able to conceive. My first birth was not all pretty. It was an emergency C-section because there were complications with the baby getting through. I have a slight scoliosis where my back is just slightly curved. And it never caused me any problems, but it did cause me problems in trying to give birth. So, no, I haven't had an easy journey all the way through. There's some very serious moments, some traumatic moments, some moments where I didn't know what was going to happen next. But all in all, I really feel blessed.
So this for you is a celebration of life?
It really is a celebration of life. Dancing with this little one, I know that all is well because the baby the baby loves music. So whenever music comes on, kicking starts happening, and I know that he's healthy. Well, that is exactly how, as a pregnant woman, you know your child is healthy when you feel constant movement.
And there's communication.
There's communication.
When you're looking at your future when it comes to dance, what is the vision that Joan Burgess has when you're looking at how dance should develop for you and also for the country that you'll be in, considering that you move a lot?
It does seem that I move a lot. Right now I'm really happy in Kenya. I'm really thankful for how Kenya has treated our family. And if they allow us to stay, we'll continue to stay. I don't know what's happening in the future. I would love to open a dance school. I would really love to open a dance school that's affordable for dancers. At the moment in Kenya, we have very talented dancers, and they do it all on their own. They do not practice with mirrors. They don't have nice wood floors to protect their knees. They're usually dancing on concrete floors, and they're awesome. Imagine if they had the nice bouncy wooden floors and the mirrors and physical therapy and insurance for when they have an injury. Those are things that I would love to do. And it's not in the immediate plan, but in the forward thinking, that is one thing I would love to do. And I'd also love to mix the dance school with education. There's also a misconception that dancers aren't smart. Because it's true, most of the people who are,
one or the other.
You either have to be smart or you have to be physical. You can't be both. It's not the truth. I had a 4.0 in college. My first degree is in history. Thank you. Nobody cares. Nobody's ever asked me that. But the point is, just because you're a dancer doesn't mean you can't think. But because you're a dancer, sometimes you can't sit still and you don't learn the same way that other people learn. So these children in school would have been moving around and thinking about music, and the teacher would have been like, what's your problem? So going back to the dance school, what I would love to do is to mix education with dance for those young learners.
Adopting learning therapies that work with children's talents.
Absolutely, because you can teach math through rhythm. You can teach literacy through movement and poetry through dance and music. There's so many things that you can do that people have not considered yet. Dance should not just, school should not just be sitting there listening. We don't learn only through listening. We learn through doing. So how do we expect kids to only learn in one way? So from that, dance school was in my vision, and also moving towards mixing that with education for our kids who are talented and learn in different ways.
When you're looking at the comments that you've received so far from the Kenyan population, when it comes to your dance, when it comes to your vision to, you know, expand the platform that is present for art, what is the feedback so far, and what do you feel that you need to change to maybe get them to share your same perspective?
So what are my comments with regards to my judging, or my comments to
dancing? My
dancing. Oh, my comments with regards to my dancing have been nothing but love. People have given great feedback, and just nothing but love. I'm really thankful to everyone. When it comes to education, that's a different thing, because it's an idea that no one's ever thought of before. In order for that to happen, I think there would be some needed policy change, and also you know, getting educators on board, and just having teachers who are used to teaching in the way they teach look at education in a different way. Basically, there needs to be a revolution in education for things like this to happen. For a dance school to happen, it's gonna that's a lot of work, because there are some institutions that have tried, but they're still not the institution in this continent for dance. So yeah, there's a lot of work that needs to happen, a lot of collaboration, a lot of capital needed, a lot of planning.
Deliberate intent.
Oh my goodness, yes, definitely.
Thank you so much for joining us, Joan. Before we end the interview, we'd want to give you an opportunity to just give us a move or two.
Just a move or two.
Just a move or two on what you can do when it comes to dance, even as you're expecting your third child. And you can show women out there they can still celebrate who they are, even as they're journeying into their new role of motherhood.
Definitely. I want to tell any mother at all, no matter what, your life does not have to stop because you're about to give birth. I know so many artists and so many musicians who would like to have a child, but they're afraid because they're afraid that their career might just stop, or they might not have the support that they would like, and they might not be able to travel. No, you will work it out. It'll be okay. Your life will go on. If you desire to have a child, make that statement. Let it be a part of your journey, and all will be well.
Sometimes is it the fear that we feel, one, as women, that you do not have the support of your preferred partner with you when it comes to journeying into that new role?
Definitely.
And how have you navigated that?
That's hard. That's a hard one. If you don't have the support of your partner, then it is much more difficult. Thankfully, if you have family around, that's one thing. If you have a nanny that can help, that's another thing. There are different ways that you can work it out if you do not have a partner that's with you. Of course, it's a lot more difficult at that point, and women have done it, and I give them all the applause for that who have done it. But wow, it's one of those things. They will find their way. It just takes that extra effort or that extra planning.
Thank you so much for joining us, Joan. So on to your move before we end the interview.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, so you can start the music. Where is it? Which should I be with you?
We'll just position, I think we'll just dictate and position you here.
Okay.
If you would like. Yeah.
If your chick come close to me, she ain't going home when she supposed to pay. I'm getting money like I'm supposed to pay. I'm getting money like I'm supposed to pay. Oh, all my niggas close to me, and all the mother niggas where they supposed to pay. Oh, the hoes go for me. How your chicks in the pit like post for me. Oh, that's how I supposed to pay. Yeah, that's how I supposed to pay. Yeah, that's how I supposed to pay. Everything look like it's supposed to be. Pull up to the club and it go up. Make your girl fall in love when I show up. It's not my fault, she wanna know me. She told me you was just a homie. She came down like she knew me. Gave it up like a groupie. And that's facts, no printer. Cold nigga turn the summer to the winter. She saved me in her phone at bestie. But I had a scream
on their whole level. Thank you so much for joining us, Jen. That was a great performance. And of course, the viewers have had an opportunity to watch some of your videos. If you can move like that when you're expectant, then what can you do when you're not? Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure to host you, get to see your passion in dance, and get to celebrate with you what vision you have in getting us as Kenyans to understand that our art is valid, our story is valid, and our talent is worth celebrating.
It is, and I can't wait to see what happens in Kenya in the next 5 years in dance.
In the next 5 years, the next 2 years, considering that you've been with us for a very long time, of course, your seed that you've planted in other dancers, others who are interested in exploring their art should grow and should germinate very soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
From the team and myself here at Ebru Africa, I hope you've gotten an opportunity to see what you can do when it comes to your art. Regardless of where you're positioned, your art is valid, your talent is worth celebrating. Put it out there and let us feel the heart that is within you to celebrate what God has given you. Thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your viewing on Ebru Africa. Thank you so much.